Welcome to the Wednesday Healing Meditation Service. Meditation is so important at this time for everybody on the planet, and that's why Jack and I do this service, because meditation is what changed our life and brought us into, I always call it the work that we were supposed to do. And we have a prayer box here, and if anybody would like to have a name called out during the prayer time, you can write their name on a piece of paper and put it into the prayer box. And we'll be calling out that name at that time. We're praying for Ukraine at this time. They're going through incredible challenges. A member of our church, Andy Levick, is actually on the phone all the time with his relatives. He was there for 2 years just recently with the Peace Corps, and he comes back, and this happens to all the people he met and also his relatives. So if there's anybody who would like to communicate with somebody in Ukraine, Andy has a way to get through to them to find out if, they're okay. He's a very, very special person. He is actually the guide for the Uniteens. That's the beginning teenagers. And he's just a delight to work with. So tonight we're going to do a simple call and response. Don't worry about what you sound like. It's really just the words that we're saying. And just rest in the feeling. And let's help ourselves make the change that we need to affect peace on everyone we meet as we walk in life, that they feel comfort with us. I am the wind. I am the wind. The breeze upon the seas. A breeze upon the seas. I am the wave. I am the wave on the ocean, on the ocean. I am the murmur of leaves rustling. I am the rays of the sun. I am the beam of the moon and the stars. I am the power of trees growing. I am the bud breaking into bloom. I am the movement of the salmon swimming. Let every voice but God's be still in me. Let me remember what my purpose is. I am surrounded by the love of God. Let all things be exactly as they are. This is the time of stillness and peace. All fear is past. Only love is here. Quiet holiness abides in me. Let every voice but God's be still in me. Let every voice but God's be still in me. Let me remember what my purpose is. I am surrounded by the love of God. Let all things be exactly as they are. This is the time of stillness and peace. Om. Om. Om.
Good evening, everyone. Henry David Thoreau, referred to often as a transcendentalist, which was a spiritual movement back about 100 years ago. He wrote a book titled Walden Pond, which became a bestseller. It still sells well today. And in it he has a line that has been used quite often in spiritual circles. He wrote that most people live lives of quiet desperation. That is, they are inwardly anxious, fearful, worried, concerned, upset, angry, and they have no way, they do not know how to release that. They live with that. In fact, it is so commonplace that it's almost accepted that we shouldn't really have true peace of mind. We should remain an anxious people, desperate, ever trying to find a way, a wrong way, to insulate ourselves personally from the many challenges and difficulties that confront us on the road of life. We want to insulate ourselves, and we do it in the wrong way because we're attempting to either have enough money, or some people turn to drink, some people, they try to go shopping when they just can't handle life anymore, and other people turn to drugs, and other people just check out. Imagine that we've reached that place. And maybe, it's not so quiet these days, the desperation. How many of you saw the Academy Awards on, Saturday night or Friday night? And Will Smith, a superstar actor, just completely became unhinged. Chris Rock, the comedian, was doing his routine, and in his routine what he does is what many comedians do, is they satirize actual people in the audience, and they joke about them and the things that they do, and most people simply take it and laugh with it. But he made a mistake, Chris Rock, because he made an off-the-shoulder comment about Will Smith's wife's having her bald head. Her head is shaved. And Will Smith leaped out of his seat, ran up onto the stage, and slapped Chris Rock in the face. And then walked down. And of course, the show was put on silence, so you couldn't hear the dialogue that went from Will Smith to Chris Rock, because he was shouting expletives at him. Anyway, it's something you don't often see. It's interesting to I don't watch very much television. I mean, I'll watch the Academy Awards. I'll watch the Olympics. I like to watch the very best at what they do. And this was a surprising thing that took place. And then later on, Will Smith won the Academy Award for Best Actor in the movie in which he plays the father of Serena Williams, the superstar tennis player growing up. And then he said, how he feels about their family and how he feels about family in general, with tears in his eyes, tears running down. Will Smith said, I just feel like I have to protect my family. And in one way, he was talking about the Serena Williams family and then his own family. I don't like to disperse people's glazed over images of other human beings. I never indulge in putting other human beings down. I just sometimes have to bring to light the truth of something that is just so totally over the top. What Will Smith was saying about the family of Serena Williams, whatever they went through, okay, great. But they're worth about $250 million today. There's not very much, that you need to protect. So his going on about that was a little bit, over the top. Just pointing that out. I don't know why I'm pointing it out. It has. I don't get very many opportunities to gossip. Do you mind? Well, let me get back on point here. So Henry David Thoreau said people live these lives of quiet desperation. And when he said this in his book, when that book was published, there was no television. There were no cell phones, laptops, iPads, all that stuff. There wasn't any of that. And yet, he was pointing out that people live lives of desperation. In the end, I suspect that people that do not have a relationship with their own divine presence of God will have some kind of anxiety. And in some cases, it'll be very desperate and very anxious and quite often lead to depression and all kinds of terrible things. Because what we are talking about is trying to live a physical life strictly from the limited ideas that life has in the world. They are just limited. Because they hold us to ideas that are so erroneous. For instance, this idea, we get it a lot when we're growing up. You should know better. You need to be more responsible. That's even more over the top than Will Smith's monologue. You should know better. Isn't it amazing that nobody operating strictly in the physical idea of life really knows better at all? There's no way, because there's no way for us to know what is taking place in the consciousness of the people around us. There's no way to know that. So we make mistakes all the time, and sometimes really terrible mistakes, because we blame people and we expect them to, be brought up on the stuff that they do when it's not in keeping with what I want them to do. So we have conflicts almost continually in our experience, because we do not know really what has gone on in the life of another person that might make them say things and do things that are really not, what we would consider considerate or kind or caring. They may just be having a bad hour or a bad day or a bad life. So we have these judgments that we make, and of course, judge not that you be not judged. We threw that out a long time ago. I don't know how long ago, but way back when. Judge not that you be not judged. Has any child heard anything along those lines in school, in training, in teaching? I doubt it. They may get some of it in Sunday school, but in the regular school, they don't get that. So, at a time when there were no cell phones to distract us, there was no TV, talking heads to be bringing up all the things that are wrong with the world and getting us, excited and angry. So we didn't have that, or the internet with all of its foibles and craziness that takes place. We didn't have any of that back then, but it is still true that people are desperate. And maybe they're shouting out about it more these days. So you see, there is no way except understanding that this has always been the human dilemma. Attempting to go life from a strictly physical point of view, we'll try so many different things. And all anybody can say is at least be awake in your trying. Because you must be awake to come to the realization you simply do not have the ability to bring harmony and peace, complete peace, love and understanding. You have not the ability to bring that to your life. There will always be things that are upsetting you, making you worried, afraid, concerned, and anxious, and in some kinds, depressed. I said this, down through the ages, human beings have experienced this dilemma. I'll share it with you as one of the ways it's shared in the Bible. And it also gives us the out, how to transcend it. This is from the book of Luke, chapter 10, starting with verse 38. Now, as they, Jesus and the disciples, went on their way, he entered a village, and a woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teachings. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are stressed and troubled about many things. One thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which shall not be taken away from her. That is, in that short, cogent story, that is the answer to the human dilemma. We are out there trying to make something happen, trying to get on in the world better than we did the day before or today. And we can only achieve so much, but then it seems to not work out to establish the insulation from the problems of life that we hoped. And what is being said here? What Bible writer would sit down? Why would Matthew sit down and take this down clearly? Why would this be wrapped up in sheets of skin and placed in urns and buried to be found and be brought up later on in life? we would go through the trouble of this. What's so important about this story? About the anxiety of Martha? Did Martha actually exist in this respect? Did Mary? Or are these two aspects of humanity? Those who are trying to make it happen out there, stressing out, troubled, and when they do turn to God, they turn to God in frustration. God, why isn't something going my way today? Why can't I have this happen? I'm not asking for a lot. And they don't wait to hear the answer because they're off again. And the answer is, you are stressed and troubled. And you have not chosen the right portion. Listen to it. You have no excuses left when I say it. Be still. The psalmist says it this way. Be still and know who is God. You can't have it otherwise. You can't have it while you're racing after that promotion on the job. You can't have it while you're sitting there at your computer looking at the stock market and wondering how you did today. You can't have it by jumping from relationship to relationship, hoping to find the perfect partner who's going to really be there for you in all events and you're going to be happy at last. It didn't happen for anybody that ever walked on planet Earth until they realized they are not self-created. Even though they have no idea who beats their heart, no idea why things go this way or that way in their body, with a million things that take place in the physical body, thinking that they're doing it. They did it. Who does your breathing? Who beats your heart? Who grows your hair? Wait a second. Is there something else going on? So there's the assumption that I'm self-created. And so I am responsible to try to make it all work so that I will eventually have harmony and peace and relationships that work. Why can't it happen? By the volition of my own personal will. Because you are not self-created. We have a creator, an intelligence that is greater than anything we can understand from a finite perspective. That's why the journey requires a step out on faith to begin to do a spiritual practice, which means to take time to be quiet on a daily level. Take some time to do that and tune into your Creator. Can you imagine that this Creator is defined as being omnipresent? Everywhere present. People say, where is he? He's not in my life. Look at what's going wrong in my life. No, but God really is omnipresent. The problem is, and the reason why people are complaining and shouting and living lives of quiet desperation, is that they are seldom ever present, ever still, ever quiet enough, ever willing to listen and be open and to rise to a higher level of awareness in which there is mystical peace, unending joy, harmony, love, insight how to live, and wisdom. So here we have this lesson in the Bible that Matthew saw was necessary to put down here. The two aspects of people. Where are you? How much time do you take each day to be still a moment or two? Maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes in the morning. That wouldn't hurt anybody. Instead of running off with the newspaper, after watching the television and angsting about everything that's going wrong in the world. But people are saying things like, and they call ministers, I hear this, I can't seem to keep up. I mean, honestly speaking, I'm trying to do the best I can, but I can't keep up. There's so many things that I'm trying to work out for my family, for me, for my friends, and the world itself. I mean, I'd like to be able to help, but I don't know if I can do anything. I'm just buried. Everything's going too fast. He's doing exactly what Martha is doing. Can you imagine to be able to step away from that? Suppose you were so spiritually practiced that whenever this started to happen in your mind, in your awareness that things aren't going well enough for you, and that you're angry at it, in a slight way. Nobody's very angry at God because there's still a little bit of fear that he might just hit you with a bolt of lightning. So people don't get overtly angry with God. But can you imagine if you were so spiritually practiced that you knew how to be still and just enter this sublime place of being okay, just as you are, in the presence of God, your Creator, being okay, being open, allowing that refined guidance to lead you, peace preceding you in every endeavor, and you're not giving it up. You're simply allowing it to precede you. And anything that calls you to give it up, you just take a moment to pause. And you do a holy pause. And you know how good it is to just feel this acceptance of peace, where there's no judgment, there's only divine love for you. In your limited place, your limited thinking, your limited life, you are so totally loved by the Creator of your life, who wants you to find the life truly worth living, absolutely wants you to open up and be there and find that life that you were born to live. But if the world owns your mind, if you've convinced yourself so totally that, oh, people have things that I wish I had, if I can only get some of that, I'm going to be really happy. If I only made enough money as Will Smith does, why don't you write to Will Smith and ask him to give up some of his money? See what his response will be. You might get another slap in the face. I'm not saying anything against Will Smith. He's a really brilliant actor. He's very spiritual. He does talk about God. He's probably got a very good spiritual life. He lost it for a few minutes. That can happen. We all will lose it, even when we're on the spiritual journey. We'll have a moment or two where we'll just be beside ourselves with some kind of anger because something's taking place that's not in keeping with consideration, kindness, fairness, and peace. But we need to be able to quickly move back into God consciousness. So that's what we are here doing, learning how to remember to move back and be still and let go and bestow peace. So here's our dilemma in very clear terms from A Course in Miracles. In quietness are all things answered, and is every problem quickly resolved. In conflict, there can be no answer and no resolution, for the purpose is to make no resolution possible, and to ensure no answer will be plain. A problem set in conflict has no answer, for it is seen in different ways. And what would be an answer from one point of view is not an answer in another light. You are in conflict. That's a statement made to everyone who is not yet doing a daily spiritual practice. You are in conflict. If you don't wake up and realize it, you will never seek to find your way out of it. If you keep thinking that the striving for the world eventually is going to work out for you, throw in the towel on that. It's saying you are in conflict, and there's no way out except in quietness. Thus, it must be clear you cannot answer anything at all in a state of conflict, for conflict has no limited effects. Yet if God gave an answer, there must be a way in which your problems are resolved, for what he wills already has been done. Therefore, God must have given you a way of reaching to another state of mind in which the answer is already there. Such is the holy instant. He'll go on to say, and here is where you can release all your problems, in the holy instant. So, human beings, while we have been taken off the ideal of living in the awareness of the presence of love that created us. Having been taken off of that and catapulted into self-centered, body-oriented living, having left that, and not only having left that, but upon leaving that presence, we leave the still small voice of God. Everybody said, what is the still small voice of God? I never know when God is God really speaking to me about this decision I have to make, or am I just making it up in my mind? If you'd really like to know what the still small voice of God is, I'm going to make it very clear for you right now. It is your conscience. Don't ever do anything unto another that you wouldn't have another do unto you. Period. If we woke up one day and everybody on the planet decided to live in relationship to that golden rule, it would be the end of war, the end of disease, the end of hate, the end of hospitals. It would be the end of chicanery, be the end of the manipulation. It would certainly be the end of the talking heads on television who are generating concern and fear and worry over and over again to get us to tune in so our adrenalines at least feel like something's happening. So, when we tune in and make it a spiritual practice, a daily practice, we realize some people think that in meditation you're going to go into cosmic consciousness. Well, you will go into some state after you've practiced a while, a state of divine peace where you see beyond the way you used to see the world, because you're not looking through your limited beliefs, your ego-centered idea. You're looking and seeing through the awareness of your own Christ consciousness. Another level, that is the consciousness of God, the kingdom of heaven, the Holy Land. So it says that God must have given us another way to reach that state of mind in which our problems are solved and where we can go to be free of the problems that continually play upon our minds and lives. Meditation, prayer, that's really, they go together. And the holy pause, remembering that when agitation is upon you, it's not a time to drink another glass of wine or have another cup of coffee. It's a time to pause and know that what you really want is that state of mystical peace that reveals to you that you are a divine being. And it makes you feel so good that you're eternal and divine. that the little petty things that are taking place in your experience then pale in significance, and you can look beyond them, you can see through them, and then you'll know how to be appropriate in dealing with them. That's all that can ever be said, by the way. Can you imagine that? We could just, I'm sure that all different kinds of levels. People need certain crutches along the way to get to this place where they become courageous enough to take to task their own awareness. So maybe the traditional churches and cathedrals and all the pomp and circumstance that goes with whatever that's about, maybe it's necessary on certain levels. But right here, right now in Unity, you have everything you need to be absolutely happy. So we're going to begin by becoming present, listening to these Tibetan bowls as they chime away, and they are synchronized to the 7 spiritual centers of the mind, which gives life to the body. So we just sit and listen and allow ourselves to be sitting here, not thinking, not wanting, not grasping, not fearing, just sitting here, allowing. Whoa, what? Yeah, be present here. Just allow yourself to be sitting here okay. Anything that comes to mind that says, yeah, you need to have to look after that, or I've got to work on that, or this needs to be done, just whenever that stuff's coming up in your mind, just let it go. So you know what? It's okay. Use this idea. It's okay just to be sitting here doing nothing. It's okay to be sitting here doing nothing. I'm not being threatened. Right now, right here, I'm just sitting. So go with that. Let that be your ideal as you listen to the bowls. And then when we get to the place of silence in the meditation, you may want to just use this type of mantra. I am in you, you are in me. I am the truth, the life, and the way. Be still and know I am God. I am in you, you are in me. I am the truth that can make you free. Be still and know that I am God. In this refined consciousness, we can more easily accept that we are all one. And therefore, the feelings and thoughts of my prayers can be realized in the consciousness of others. And that is what we do when we pray. By opening ourselves in prayer, we're allowing the divine intelligence that is life and gives life to move into the consciousness of those we give our attention to. So as Norma calls the name of a person that's been submitted to our prayer list, just simply let the feeling, the thought, you are loved, go to that name.
Craig Simpson, Ryan and Roxy, Vera, Bear Creek Forest, Brother Job, Sister Celister, Dan Spahn, Sandy Spahn, John Stovall, Larry Morrison, Sherry and Davion, Weston Halsey, Lori, Bonnie Campbell, Michael Spahn, Steve Taylor, Gary Scott Campbell, Rich Zelbel, Dara, Tim Spahn, Dan Spahn, Lori Martell, Beverly Murphy, Sandy Bigtree, all the people in Ukraine. All people have left Ukraine for safety. The air, water, earth, all life on planet Earth. And you can call out a name if you would like to do so. We surround the healing box with prayers, love, and kindness. Healing, light. All the names that have been submitted out throughout the month, we see them healed, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us just take an extra moment now to feel divine light and love moving in the consciousness of everyone negotiating the possible peace in Ukraine. Everyone operating on behalf of the Russians and on behalf of the Ukraine people. The light of divine healing wisdom coming into the forefront of their negotiations. That there can be a resolution and an end to the devastation and the bloodshed. Let the love and light and wisdom of the presence of God, the Creator, prevail over the minds of men and establish peace in Ukraine. And let us realize this presence necessary for the evolution of humanity. This Christ consciousness finally being sought by everyone around the world, recognizing the necessity to become God conscious, to operate from a higher level of consideration, compassion, healing, peace, and love. This becoming the goal and the ideal and the consciousness of everyone sharing this planet with us. As we pray, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. If we can have the lights up a little bit in the sanctuary. I think there's someone who will pass the offering bags around. And yeah, good. Sandy Spahn. All right.
We need one more.
We need somebody else to take the other one down the aisle. Okay, Betty, that's great. Come on down. And you can pick up this bag over here, Betty. All right. And those of you online, you can just tune in. If you scroll down, you'll see a place that says donate. It'll give you all the different ways you can donate. I wouldn't be saying this as clearly as I'm saying it, but you were short about $13,000 last month. I mean, think about it. I mean, if you're receiving this and it's of any help to you, you know, why don't you just support it, take care of it? It might not always be here. Oh, and I should say, I think I need to say this as well. Will Smith's wife isn't suffering from some incurable cancer. She has a scalp problem, a disease, and there are medications that she can use to get her hair to come back. So I don't want you to be thinking negative terms regarding her. And so as we bring to mind that gift we'd like to make, that financial gift to Unity, let's bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give.
I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God. Wherever I go, whatever I do, whoever I think I am. Wherever I go, whatever I do, whoever I think I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God. I am sustained by the love of God, by the love of God. We are so blessed.
Hmm?
We are, and the service. No,
Oh, we went overtime. We're 4 minutes over 8. Okay. That's all right. I just want to bless them when they come down. So they've gotten 4 minutes extra. Maybe we should pass the bags around again. Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth, the Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen.
the bookstore is open and we have refreshments. So it's just go out the door and go to your left. Thank you.
Thank you for showing up in person. We would ask a lot of you on Sunday. I'd like to see a lot of you show up that haven't been here for a while. Come on in person. We love to
Weather's
have
getting
more
better.
energy. Yeah. The weather's getting better and we have great refreshments in Fellowship Hall.